Whoa, here they all come. Where are they? Who we got? Sally, you've still got your video on. Johanna, Stu, Carmel, Isabel, Shelley, Dan Lake, Sue Hart, Linda Weatherly, still not on the sofa. Frank out in Florida. Tonya, hi Tonya, Karen, Stephanie Harrison. We've got Alex there. Hi, Alex. Dale the Destroyer. I need to talk to you about your comment on my wall just recently. Marit, Sylvia, Liz Oliver, Jonathan Clark up in Glasgow, Phil Atkinson just off the shore of Iceland. You're getting further north, Phil. Roger, Tom, Sylvie. Yeah, that's a great turnout tonight. So thanks for all being here. Well, let me just turn this volume down on this for a second. This is for one of my demos a little bit later. We're doing all kinds of crazy stuff on this one. We're using radio mics, so give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Is the sound quality okay? Good. So we're using radio mics, so I don't accidentally trip over the cable and unplug it like I did a couple of weeks ago. You know, there's been so much talk about this particular final episode of The Spiritual Entrepreneur being astral marketing. Which it actually is, but I kind of like give it that title being a little bit, as many of you know me, a little bit. That's tongue in cheek, by the way, not something else. If you thought it was something else, that's your mind, not mine. Okay. But then you can always throw back perception is projection. So we talked last week about aligning all of these 4 levels, or more correctly, 7 levels of creation of reality in our business. And what I want to talk to you about tonight is a technique which I've been doing for a number of years, and it works really, really well. And though it's a bit of a, what would be the term for it? It's a bit of a mindfuck. Okay, is everybody okay with that? Just thumbs up if you're okay with that before I even start. And even if you didn't give me a thumbs up, I'm gonna teach it you anyway, because you might look at it years later and go like, I now know what he's talking about. But I want to give you a demonstration of this. So we're going to talk about astral marketing. What we're actually, I'm going to be giving you is a technique that enables you to draw down spirit into the physical. And it's a bit far out. Though what I'm going to demonstrate to you is the equivalent from an electromagnetic point of view. And I've been testing this demo out for all afternoon. Let's hope it works. I'm going to demonstrate to you how you can do electromagnetic marketing, lower levels, in the same way. Many of you know that I'm into ham radio. So here's my handheld, my ICOM ID52. By the way, this broadcast is not being sponsored by ICOM. This enables me to connect via radio to an internet gateway, which enables me to use this radio to put out a broadcast to the entire internet around the world to anybody that's listening. Now, a lot of people go, why would you want one of these when you've got one of these? Well, you can only talk to somebody that you know on one of these. Whereas I can talk to people that I don't know on one of these. Now, I'm going to put out a call. It may or may not work, which is the same thing with astral marketing. But I don't know who's picking up this call. I don't know who's listening. All right. Anywhere around the world, I don't know who's listening. I've got a paper and a pen here because out of politeness in the radio amateur world, then we'd always reply with somebody's call sign. So I want to write down the call sign when they give it out. And let's
7JP.
Well, that's somebody who's listening. So let's see if they pick up this radio test. And
7JP.
Okay, fair enough. And let's see if they pick up the radio test. And this will be a demonstration. Oh, somebody's already picked it up. Let me go. Okay, I'm going to go for it now. Mike 7 Charlie Zulu Mike, Mike 7 Charlie Zulu Mike, putting out a radio test to do a demonstration of the power of amateur radio on a Zoom session that I'm doing currently with around about 100 people. Is there anybody out there? QSL?
Kilo 7 Victor Echo.
That was Kilo 7 Victor Echo. He's in America. Kilo 7 Victor Echo. This is Mike 7 Charlie Zulu Mike. Thanks for picking up that radio test. And I'm just using this as a demonstration of the power of amateur radio in the 2023 or whatever it may be. And so thanks for coming back. You're at 5 and 9 here in Richmond in London. QSL?
Yeah, I think you came back to me. There was another station. There was K7 Victor Echo calling you as well, but this is G4SEP. Yeah, your report is also 59. Very, very good signal, good audio, and there's quite a bit of activity from the States this evening up to now. Anyway, back he comes, G4SEP.
Thanks, G4XEP. Yeah, thank you for the radio check. This is Mike 7 Charlie Zulu Mike. Name's David here. QTH is Richmond out in London. And I'm just demonstrating to people why you'd want to be into amateur radio in these days of mobile phones. So thanks for coming back to me. And 73s, and I'll speak to you again on the bands.
Yeah, fine business. There, and okay to everybody listening. I've just got you up on QRZ and got your details up there, David. I'm also using the Zoom Spot 3.5, which I only commissioned the day before yesterday, in actual fact. It's the first time I've been on D-Star. And the very first contact was Australia, VK station, and it was quite pleased. It took me by surprise when he came back to me. I've been licensed, I think, for 40 years now, so mainly on HF satellites and also local nets as well. Anyway, all the best to everybody there. I hope everything goes well, and we'll catch you again further down the log, David. M7CZM, George 4, Sugar Echo, powering Grimsby, North East Coast.
Yeah, thanks, mate. And thanks for coming back to the call. Golf 4, Sugar Echo, Papa. Oh.
Just for your audience, if you're still there, I'm coming to you from west of Seattle, Washington, in Kingston, Washington. I'm using a handheld radio, talking into a repeater that I'm provisioning for the town here. And I'm one of the old men of D-Star. I've been in it since too long.
That's great. So I'm going to give an over final to Golf 4, Sugar Echo Papa from Mike 7 Charlie Zulu Mike. Thanks for coming back to me, Kilo 7 Victor Echo. Yes, the guys are still here. We're now going to go on to something else. So thanks for coming back to me. And this is a final over from me. Mike 7, Charlie Zulu Mike.
Sorry, I dropped out there for a minute. Battery went on one radio, so I have went to another radio if it's still there.
Kilo 7 Victor Echo, Mike 7 Charlie Zulu Mike. This is me over. I need to go and teach some other stuff now. So thanks for coming back to the call. And 73, see you again on the bands. That worked rather better than I was expecting it to work, actually. Because when I did the demo earlier, I didn't get anybody. And that's the thing about what I'm talking about with astral marketing, because it's not linear. It's not like okay, I'm going to call this person, or I'm waiting for this person to call me, or I've sent out this e-shot to these people. These are the way that this works is that anybody that is listening and you don't know who they are, where they are, we just had west of Seattle, we had Grimsby in the northeast of England pick up the call. And what I'm going to talk to you about works in exactly the same way. And I just wanted to give you a demo of that. I said to them, I was here to get you interested in ham radio, because otherwise they wouldn't have picked up the call. Okay. So let me talk to you now about the big picture on astral marketing. We're into this, yeah, 3 minds. And you know that the higher self is in the spiritual body, conscious mind is in the mental body, unconscious mind's in the emotional body, and they all live in our physical body. And what I haven't talked about so far is that our physical body creates the mana, the energy to keep these other minds alive, right? So your physical body is the generator of energy for the higher bodies and for these 3 minds. Okay. Now, what we've got is at the level of the higher self, we're all one. So we have a little bit of a paradox going on in that at the level of the higher self, everything is one. So then a question I quite often get asked is, so does everybody have their own higher self, or is there just one higher self? And the answer to that question is yes. Okay. But this is an important concept when we get into talking about astral marketing. Because the way that we're going to connect with people, just like I did with the internet, on the internet, everybody on the internet is one. They're all connected with each other. That's not connected to the internet. I've got the conscious intention of communicating with somebody. I pick up this, which is my unconscious mind, and my unconscious mind is connected to the internet gateway. The internet is my higher self. That's my connection into the world. And you've just seen a demonstration of that into, West Seattle and Grimsby. But this, your higher self, is the kind of like the spiritual, the astral equivalent of the internet. But the internet is not even a small estimation of the capabilities of your higher self. Okay, I just wanted to use that as a demonstration on a more physical level of what we're talking about with astral marketing. So let me give you the steps. And you might want to write these down. And I know Sally was talking about whether we would put a cheat sheet together for this. We may well do this, but until then, write these steps down. So always set a goal and an intention. When I do astral marketing, it's to bring people into mine and our businesses. That's my goal, to bring people in. Yeah. My intention is to bring people in where if we were to work together, it would be in alignment with theirs and my true spiritual purpose and destiny. This is the ecology piece of the process. Yep. And I think you already know that I'm pretty hot on ecology. All right. Then we ask our unconscious mind to connect to our higher self, which it is anyway, but we instruct our unconscious mind to do that. If you've studied Huna with me or with somebody else in my lineage, then you know how to do the higher self connection, and you also know the chance to make that happen, which particularly we teach at Huna level 2. I know some people online here are already booked in to do that because we've done Huna level 1 with me. And your unconscious mind is connected to your higher self anyway. So you can do this without having studied Huna. You'll be able to do it probably more effectively after you've studied Huna. We want to open up this channel here between the unconscious mind and the higher self. Then we want to build mana. We want to build up energy. The most effective way of doing that, I found, is Ha breathing. And I think all of you know how to do that. And then what we're going to do is ask our unconscious mind, because the unconscious mind is the domain of mana. Your unconscious mind creates the energy in your body. So we're then going to ask our unconscious mind to send the mana to your higher self. Conscious mind's conscious mind's role in all of this is to pay attention to your unconscious mind doing that in whatever way that you pay attention to it. You might see it, you might hear it, you might feel it. So now your higher self as a surcharge of energy. Then we're going to ask or tell, depending whichever way works best for you, our higher self to create Arca connections. Arca is the way in Huna that we talk about that we're all connected. They're like pipes. They're like cables. They plug into me, they plug into you, and then we can flow the energy down the cable in 2 directions. I can flow energy to you, you can flow energy to me. Yep. So Arca are like cables. We ask our higher self to create Arca connections with everyone who knows of you. This is really important. In the world of social media and the world of the internet, there are people that know about you and you don't know who they are. There are people that maybe you've had some dealings with somebody and they've told somebody else about you, and that person has told somebody else about you. It's this, was it 5 degrees of separation or whatever? So this is, we're creating arc of connections, asking our higher self to create arc of connections to everyone that knows about you. You might not necessarily know about them. This is why I wanted to do this demonstration. The 2 people, actually 3 people that replied to my call, I don't know who they are. I've never met them. But they were online, as it were, and waiting for a call. Then we ask our higher self to send an impulsive manner, which we've given to our higher self, to all those people that are connected now at the level of higher self, who working with you would be in alignment with their true spiritual purpose and destiny. This is the ecology check on this. That people might know of you, and working with you is of neither any conscious mind interest, emotional interest, and it's not in alignment with their true spiritual destiny or purpose. We don't want to infringe those people. So we put an ecology check in here. What we want our higher self to do is send an impulse of energy, boom, out through those arc connections to the people that know about us, that in actual fact, working with us would be in alignment with their true spiritual purpose and their true spiritual destiny. With an intention that their unconscious mind would bring you to the attention of their conscious mind. So think about it. If somebody already knows about you, even if they're not consciously aware of it, there's a memory of when they first came across you. What we're asking here is that their unconscious mind brings to their conscious mind's attention you, their memory of you, their connection with you, where they'd heard about you previously, with the desire to work with you and get in touch. Yep. And your conscious mind's role in this is to pay conscious attention to that process. Now, I've been doing this for quite a long time, and you do it, and people, like, some people you know, you've been in contact with them, but it was a long time ago. It's like what we'd say here in England. They come out of the woodwork and they go, I was just thinking about you and ... Or people that you didn't even know that knew about you contact you and go, you just came to mind, and I'm really interested in doing a breakthrough session, doing some mentoring, doing some coaching, doing a training with you, etc., etc., etc. So this is not only, if you like, now let me just talk about this. This technique does not replace physical marketing, physical advertising, because you're only going out to people that already know you. So you've got to be on social media, you've got to be putting out ads, you've got to be busy spreading the word, spreading who you are on this level. It's not a case of like, oh, okay, I'll just do David's astral marketing technique, put my feet up on the desk, and everything will come to me. That doesn't work. because of what we talked about last week, you've got to bring this all down into the physical level. So you've got to be doing your physical marketing, your physical advertising, getting people involved in your emotional message, your mental message. But that doesn't necessarily get them to call you. My experience is that this does. And whenever I do this, I would say on average, we get 2 or 3 extra calls a day with people who go, actually, I've just been thinking about you. I think I want to book Huna. Just been thinking about you. I think I want to do a breakthrough session. I wanted to work on putting this together as a visual representation for you. I wanted to give you a physical representation for you, but a visual representation is this. All right. Let me just move this in a little bit so you can see it. So you've got the conscious mind with the goal and the intention. The unconscious mind builds the manner. We give that to our higher self, and we ask our higher self to go. And my literal metaphor is it of it. This is what it's like when I pay attention to it. It's like it like sends out a network. And then when I go, okay, through that network, send the manner to inspire people that working with me is in total alignment with their true spiritual destiny and purpose. And I see it go out as a pulse boom, to their higher selves. And then I see it from their higher selves going down to their unconscious minds. And then their unconscious minds going, hey, I think you need to talk to David Shepherd. I think you need to talk to Performance Partnership. So there we go. That's astral marketing in a nutshell. I said it was a little bit out there. In my experience, does it work? Yep, it does. And you know, quite often I fall into the trap of only doing it when the phone's not ringing. Whereas naturally, then I go like, David, do this every day. I tend to do it at night. You know, quite often I wake up in the middle of the night, and it was one of the things I got from Stuart Wilde. Stuart Wilde said, the quietest time on the astral plane is 4 a.m. in the morning. And I'm sure Stuart put into my head, because I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I go like, oh, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. And I want to go back to sleep. And then I go like, hang on a minute. Let's just put out a little bit of astral marketing before we fall back to sleep. That's my chosen time for doing it. It doesn't need to be that time, but that's my chosen time for doing it. So there you've got it in a nutshell. So, Sally, if we haven't got any questions on this, I think I'm going to go and do something else. Do we have any questions, Sally?
You do. Ken has a question for you.
Sorry?
Ken has a question.
Ken. Hi, Ken. How you doing? And Ken knows about this stuff because he's a fellow radio ham.
He doesn't have the question. I do.
I can't.
Oh, Stella.
Hi. I just wanted to know how you build the manna and how long you breathe for. So how you do that. I mean, how long you do it for.
Okay. You know, I think people who have been practicing Huna for a long time, like you guys have got a walk around with a surcharge of mana anyway. So you might not even need to do it. But you know, if you wanted to build up some mana, 7 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Star.
Thank you.
Good to speak to you again.
Jonathan Clark has a question.
Jonathan.
Hi, Dave. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. I heard about this years ago, and I'm kind of kicking myself that I hadn't figured it out. At what point does one then cut the connections with one's students and customers?
Well, you know, Moina Simeone would say that you do that every day. So, you know, once the process is done, the impulse is sent out, then you don't actually need to be energetically connected to the people for it to work anymore. So, you know, from a Huna practice, I would say that, you know, what we do is we cut our Arca connections with everybody and everything every day. And that's an important thing from both perspectives. One is it enables you to keep your energy vessel in integrity. Otherwise, you might become like a bit of a leaky bucket. No matter how much hard breathing you do to pour water into the bucket, it just leaks out all over the floor. But equally, you know, your customers, your students, your friends, your family, you want them to be free to grow in their own way and their own light, rather than in the shadow of yours. I know there are people in this industry that don't do that, and they know, and they do it quite deliberately, to create a situation where people will always see themselves as being inferior to, you know, the person who they're learning from and doing all that stuff from. I don't actually agree with that. And you can always tell it's in their marketing. They're always the best, the number one, the whatever. And Hermes Trismegistus, the thrice great, with his axiom, as above, so below. And this is what these people don't get about that, is they go, I'm here, I'm at the top. I'm the best, I'm better than anybody else. But with Hermes Trismegistus as thrice great, as above, so below, there'll always be as much above you as there is below you. So, you know, when you go like, I'm the best, I'm the number one, I'm the whatever, then you actually, in that very statement, create the fact that you're going to find people that are better than you. And now these people are going to be disappointed because they go like, oh, I thought I was the best. I thought I was number one, and this person's better than me. So really, the whole thing around it, this is what Ho'oponopono enables you to do, practice on a regular basis, is it just enables you to be you. You don't need to be better than anybody else. You don't need to be number one. You just want to be you. And as long as you're living and creating the life that you want, it doesn't matter what anybody else is doing. But with that model, you'll always find somebody who's got more money than you. You'll always find somebody who's got better cars than you, or better relationships than you, and bigger businesses than you. And then people get disappointed and upset about that. But in actual fact, it doesn't matter. Just be you. And using that technique, you'll draw to you the people that want to work with you. I don't know if that answers your question, Jonathan, but
no, I like that a lot. I remember hearing about somebody who used to pull the ACCA connections back every time he wanted to fill a course, and I always remember thinking, I don't think that's very ecological. And you've also reminded me of the phrase that if you want to play competition games, you will attract contenders.
Yep.
So awesome.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Awesome, Dave. Thank you very much.
All right. Cheers, mate.
Tonya, your question, please.
Love this. I located from my hometown 15 years ago, but still go back to see my hairstylist because a good hairstylist. Anyhoodles. One day she was like, "Why are you here, Tonya?" And I was like, "Oh, blah, 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 in town for blah, blah, blah." And then we just started talking about marketing, and she kind of shared this very strategy with me. And I was like, "Oh, so earlier when you asked me why I'm here, you knew very well why I was here." And my question is actually very simple. So you're suggesting this is a broadcast to whomever versus specific individual people, or could it work in both ways?
I would say it's a broadcast to people in general rather than specific people from an ecology point of view. In the, yes, it's a broadcast, but I broadcast it just to people that working with me, working with us in some way, shape, or form, whether it's to do a training, whether it's to do coaching, whether it's to do mentoring, whether it's to do a breakthrough session, whether it's to become a subscriber on c21nlp.com, whether it's to join the group, whether it's to to work with us, in some way, shape, or form. That's what I ask my higher self to broadcast out to, rather than it being a specific person. Because I've got some ecological issues about that. And this is what they'll say. You just popped into my mind. I don't know why. What are you doing at the moment? I'm just interested. You popped into my mind for some reason. I don't know why. That's the kind of thing that people get. And then that opens up the conversation, right? They've called in. They say, "You just popped into my mind." And you go, "Okay, great. So what's going on for you at the moment? This is what we're doing. If there's a match, great. Or if there's not, thanks for calling us. Nice to have a chat." Does that answer your question, Tonya?
Tonya's just had to pop off the call for a minute, Dave. So
Okay.
she'll listen to it in the
recording.
recording. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sally, other questions?
Marit has a question.
Who has?
Marit.
Marit, you're up.
Hi, this is so incredible. Love it, love it, love it. And you had popped into my head. I was thinking I want to do more HUNA levels and all that. And so I think I felt one of your ACCA connections and I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, I've been listening to all your stuff. It's fabulous. I have a question. kind of relating to projection as well in business. I was just going to ask, what's your advice? I did my trainings with Matt and Tris and years.
Okay. Yep.
I am from California too, but
Okay.
that's
okay. We'll forgive you.
Yeah, crazy. I'm one of 3 partners. We own a business together, and it's fantastic. It's got so much potential. It's been in place, and we're carrying it on. And my question is about, what's your best advice for when projections and shadows, because one of my partners is a longtime friend. We knew each other when we were 19 years old, and it comes up. So I know I have been fascinated watching it, and even with some of my clients, I'm like, yeah, this is for me. And so I really try to focus on myself and notice my triggers and deal with those. But what about people like my partners have had no NLP or HUNA, or just, is it going to work? I don't know.
Well, yeah, obviously it can work. I mean, the thing is, with what you've learned from Matt and Tris, it gives you another level of awareness. So, you're in a business partnership, which means that you're all in each other's 7th houses from an astrological point of view, which we talked about earlier in the series, which means that what you're going to project onto those people is what Carl Jung would call your shadow, the you that you're not consciously aware of, which is why, any partners, whether they be, partners in an intimate relationship, business partners, et cetera, anybody you have a contract with, have the innate ability to bring your shit up. I mean, that's just the dynamic of the relationship. But what you got to realize is it's not them, it's you. Then with the particular partner that you've got that was a high school friend, when she became your business partner, she moved houses. So she moved from the 5th house, which is the house of fun, and moved into the 7th house, which is the house of the shadow. And quite often that can be a challenging thing. I do a training which I do out once a year out in Malta, called the Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive. I think we've already decided we're going to rename it the Wizard Secrets, because it's more that than the Personal Empowerment Breakthrough Intensive. But the point about it is that we had these 2 ladies that had come and done the training, who knew each other. They were great friends. They weren't partners, they were great friends, but they decided that to reduce their hotel bill, they'd share a room. Now, as soon as they become roommates, it's the same as business partners. It's the same as your intimate partner. So your projections change. They're no longer friends. They're in a 7th house relationship rather than a 5th house relationship. And they found this really challenging. So one of them came up to me and said, I shared a room with so-and-so. And I'm like, yeah. They were like, oh, I can't believe it. If I'd known that she was like this, I would never have shared a room with her. She's driving me mad. And I'm going like, well, actually, listen, it's not her, it's you. This is a phenomenal opportunity for your own personal growth and development. Next day, the other one came and had the same conversation with me. So any partnerships, they are tough because of that astrological and projection dynamic. So they do offer a tremendous opportunity for our own personal growth and development. That doesn't really give you an answer or a solution to what you've asked. what I would actually say is, have your business partners learn NLP and Ahuna. It'll become a lot easier.
Okay, I think that's a good, I could put that out there. Yeah.
You know, and I do, you know, I do breakthrough sessions one-to-one, but I also do relationship breakthrough sessions, not only for you know, partners are in an intimate relationship where it's all going wrong and they go in their separate ways and they're winding up for a divorce or whatever. But also I've done that for business partners, because it's the same thing. You know, you've got business partners that get together, and they get together for what they think is the right reason at the time, but then there's all manner of other things come up and all that kind of stuff. So in actual fact, the breakthrough process that I do for business partners is exactly the same as the process I do for relationship partners. It's just the values that we work with are different. In a relationship breakthrough, it's obviously their values for relationship and also for sex. And when it's business partners, it's their values for business and for money.
Right.
And the process is still the same. So that's what I would say. That's how to make it work. I'm not saying it wouldn't work without that. It can work and get a really great result, and it's not going to be as easy as it could be.
Right.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you so much.
That's a pleasure. Thank you. Sally, what else do we have?
Roger.
Roger, I was missing you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Great stuff. Look, I'll admit to a bit of an obsession with energy in the context of value creation, all that stuff that we've had this conversation before. I'm going to really struggle with the articulation of this question, but it's the relationship between the goal and the specific intention that relates to the goal and energy. So let me have a go.
Okay.
Let's suppose you spend shed loads of money doing all the right things with marketing, which honoring what you said about not replacing physical marketing. So you do all the right things with marketing, you get all the right targeting and everything else. What is the mechanism, if you're able to come, how does setting the goal and the intention, then powering it or energizing it through mana, and sending it out via your higher self into the, let's call it the ether, if I can call it that, how does that cause these people who know of you to come back? What is the, if you had to have a stab at what the mechanism is by which that happens, what would it be? I know it's an unfair question. It just fascinates me to think how that could work causally, back to causation.
Roger, I always love your questions. So so there's no such thing as an unfair question. All right. My goal when I do this is to bring business into my businesses. That's my goal. My intention is to achieve that goal by bringing or attracting to the businesses people that are going to, as a result of having some kind of interaction with us, achieve their true spiritual purpose and destiny. then where the energy fits into that is that the way the universe works is with balance. So, you know, and you can't create energy and you can't destroy energy. This is the thing that you know, Einstein realized with his equation E equals mc squared, and also, you know, then what he and Oppenheimer worked on was about how to release that massive amount of energy that's in a small amount of mass, because the square of the speed of light is massive. It's not the you know, it doesn't create energy, it's transforming energy. So where the energy comes in when you send that impulse of energy out, it's got to come back from somewhere. It's just that you don't know where. So, you know, your physical advertising, your physical marketing is putting energy out. It seeds people. It seeds you into people's unconscious minds. So that you're in there. If they've seen an advert, if they've read a book, if they've read an article, if they've had a telephone conversation, that memory of that is in here. What we're asking with this process is right time and right place for this particular person. Have that memory pop up from the unconscious mind to the conscious mind. And, you know, the unconscious mind is the mind of energy. So I'm just thinking of something else that might answer it for you, Roger. So what you create on the physical plane is a function of focus, energy, and time. So the more focused you are, the more energy you've got, the less time it takes. The less focus you've got, the less energy you've got, the more time it takes. But you will create what you're focusing on. Now, a lot of people focus on what they don't want with not a particular amount of energy. So they do create what they're focusing on, which is what they don't want, but it took so much time for that to happen. They don't realize the link between thought and it coming into physical reality. The more focus you've got, NLP is great for that. The more energy you've got, HUNA is great for that, the less time it takes. Which is why I always recommend to people who are coming studying HUNA with me, study NLP. Because a lot of them go like, I want to build up my energy. I want to be able to manifest my thoughts into reality. Well, you don't want to do that if you've got chaotic thoughts. Because what you'll do is you'll just create chaos in your life. And I've seen a number of people do that. So that's the equation, if you like, that goes behind what we're talking about here. If we bring it back to the physical reality of the demonstration I did right at the start of the session, I had to send out an impulse of energy from here, which went then through the internet for somebody to pick it up and then send the energy back. Does that answer your question, Roger?
That's brilliant. Brilliant. So just to test my understanding, so the physical marketing that you invest in is, can I call it injecting a latent cause in others' unconscious mind, and what this process is doing is triggering it and releasing that latent cause and focusing it in the right way by time and all the rest of it. Sorry, it's crap articulation, but that's the essence of it, is it? Yeah.
So and also from an ecological point of view, you know, you've put out your social media, you've done all this stuff. People need to know who you are and what you do, and you know what the value is that you can create for them. And then what this process does is germinates the seed or activates that thing that you put into their unconscious mind, and they go, actually, I've just remembered this guy called Roger. I think I need to give him a call. Where's his details?
Brilliant. Thanks so much.
It's a pleasure, Roger. Thanks for your question. Sally, any other questions?
Linda's got a question.
Linda.
Hi, David.
Hi, how you doing?
This is fabulous, and it's explaining a lot of my life stuff. So my question is, because I love doing Huna, I've used to really good effect, but I do it last thing at night, do the breathing with my eyes closed. Equally, sometimes with my iPads on. Because the darker it is, the better it is. And then I get my arm thing doing its thing, and it seems to reach people. Should we speak, I don't know, write down, verbalize this? Because I can't do it with my eyes shut if I'm trying to read something. What is the actual way of doing this? Because you said, obviously, we need to be really specific. One thing went through my head is, why don't I record it and then still lay with my eyes, you know, closed and do the heart breathing? What is when you say you do this, how do you actually do it?
As I say, quite often I do it when I wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning. Thanks, Stuart. And I go, okay, I want to go back to sleep, and then I go, okay, no, let's just do a little bit of astral marketing for a little while. So I just say to my unconscious mind, you know, activate the link to our higher self. Pass surcharge of mana to our higher self. Then tell our higher self to send out Arca connections to all the people that know of us around the world. And you know, you pay attention to all that process, you know, how it creates the link, how it passes the mana, how it does the Arca connections, and then you go, then send out an impulse of energy to all the people that know of us, that working with us is in alignment with the true spiritual purpose and destiny. Send out an impulse of mana. And it is a bit like that for me. It's like, I see it go out.
Do you verbalize it to yourself? I mean, outwardly, and then
you don't need to. Okay. But at first you could do.
That's what I was thinking.
In such a way that when that impulse of mana gets those people, it brings up the memory of you from their unconscious mind to their conscious mind in such a way that they have a strong desire to give you to connect with you and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Whether
Well,
that conversation leads anywhere or not, that's another thing. But you know,
Yes.
it gets the phone ringing, it gets the emails coming in.
Yeah. So what part do you do the breathing whilst you're thinking it through, or afterwards, or before?
I don't, because I do heart breathing every day anyway.
Right.
So, but if you didn't do heart breathing every day, so you didn't have naturally a surcharge of mana, then you could do it right before you did the process.
Great. Okay. That would work for the way I do it.
Yeah.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
That's
Been
okay. Thanks,
amazing.
Linda.
Can I
Yeah, and
share
you.
one funny thing from last week?
Go on, Linda.
I bounced it off Sally. Once we finished the Zoom, I walked downstairs. I went into my lounge, and there was, for no reason, the stem or part of the candle stick holder had broken off. It's glass.
Oh, right. Okay.
Nothing fell on it. Nothing. And it's a sheer break. It was a gift from, family member. So
Right.
I sort of worked that through, but it was weird. I mean, literally, I walked in the room, no noise, no anything, and it was just broken.
Yep.
Sheared off.
So just take that as a sign, Linda, about how powerful you are.
I don't want to keep breaking glass, though.
No, just refocus it, shining your own light rather than the candlestick.
Great. I've got the picture. I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. You're not coming around my house. Too much expensive. I've got too much expensive stuff.
Yes, keep it away from me.
Linda walks in through the door.
Yeah, crack.
Get
Okay, David, we've got some questions from Simi.
Simi, yeah, okay.
Um,
Were these actual ones from last week?
yeah.
Okay.
So the first question was, in session 4, within the bodies that you mentioned, where does sabotage sit? Whether that's you sabotaging yourself or sabotaging others, or others sabotaging you.
In the emotional body. For all of them. So if you're sabotaging yourself from an emotional point of view, from a limiting beliefs point of view, potentially from a parts point of view, if you looked at it from an NLP perspective, they would all be in the unconscious mind, which means they're in the emotional body. Sabotaging others would be the same, because that would be as a result of your negative emotions, limiting beliefs about, you get people going like, well, if they become successful, this is a limited universe perspective. The more successful people there are, the less likely I'm to be successful, because there's only a limited amount of success to go around. Then other people sabotaging you would be in the same place, because in reality, nobody can sabotage you. You can only sabotage yourself. So the question I would ask is, if you've got the perception that there are other people sabotaging you, then who are you sabotaging?
Cool, thank you for that one. And then she asked, is your higher self, which you said was your true self, is this also your soul?
That would depend on the model that you're referring to, about soul. So from a kind of like a Freudian point of view, your soul is who you truly think you are. Therefore, conscious mind. From a yeah, it's difficult because from a Judeo-Christian point of view, soul will be again who you really are, but because God, the creator, is everything, then does somebody really have a soul? From a Huna point of view, then your higher self. But they wouldn't have called your higher self the soul. They wouldn't have used that terminology. I'd have to have a look in my English Hawaiian dictionary to see if there's even a translation of soul into Hawaiian. I don't actually think there is. So, this is the big mistake that the missionaries made. Because when they came to Hawaii, because they weren't, everybody's got their own Aumakua, they've got their own creator, higher self, and then they had all these other gods and goddesses. So they went, okay, the Hawaiian religion, which it wasn't a religion, is polytheistic. And there's only one religion that's a true religion on the planet, which is Christianity, which is monotheistic. There is only one God. In actual fact, the Hawaiians had the same thing. That everything came from the one source, the Keawe, or in secret the Io. So in actual fact, the Hawaiian system is monotheistic as well. It all comes from one place. Did they have multiple gods and goddesses? Yes, but then the Christians had multiple archangels, which were the same kind of, but they came from, the archangels came from the one God. Well, all of the Hawaiian gods and goddesses came from the same place, the Keawe, including your higher self. So it, what is the soul would depend on which model, and they're all models, by the way, which model you were referring to. Simi's not here, so I don't know if that answers the question or not, but.
Great, thank you. And I don't think there's any further questions.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks guys for joining us. Hopefully, I've managed to set it up right on my other computer so it doesn't record in gallery view. Apologies for that. Last week I went to edit it the next morning and I went, oh fuck, it's in gallery view. But I think when we're putting these things together, there's so much running around and there's so much tech going on and so many buttons and stuff to press. It even does, as a techie nerd, it even does my head in. So I apologize for that. But I don't get to see the recording until it's too late, as it were. So it's either you get the gallery view or you don't get it at all. And I think it's more important that you got the gallery view. And I'll find out whether I pressed all the right buttons tonight in a couple of minutes. So thanks for joining us for this evening. Thanks for joining us for the Spiritual Entrepreneur. Give me a thumbs up. Was this good? Was it good? Because, you know, sometimes I come up with ideas for the masterclasses and I go, oh, this would be a really good idea. And then I discover that I'm the only person that thought it was a good idea. So I do like to get some feedback that some of my ideas are good ideas. And certainly from your questions, I got that we kind of like hit the nail on the head for where people are at this point in time. So thank you so much for joining us. I'm just going to move the camera around a little bit. Thank you so much for joining us. Whether you've joined us live, online. By the way, I was talking to somebody out in Australia yesterday. She goes, I just can't watch them live because it's 4 o'clock in the morning. But I do watch the replays, and the people that are there online at the time, their questions absolutely make it for me.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I've been saying that to you guys, but that's actually from somebody out in Australia who said that to me yesterday morning, that you guys who actually are here live, and you come up with, you know, what I go, here's I know it's a great question. I haven't got an instant answer. I have to really go inside and go like, never thought that before. Which, you know, so your questions online, not only do you get the answer for you, it creates an answer for everybody else, whether they're here or not. And also it has me ask questions that I've never asked of myself. So, you know, please keep coming back. I don't know what the next one's going to be. I haven't decided yet, but please coming back for it. We love running these out, and we love the fact that that also we create value for you too. Yeah. So we'll see you on the next one when we know what it is.